So a man is fortunate enough to fall in love with Ellen. And David says, you know about Ellen? No. Ellen has not one but 2 dragons. Remember those dragons that was in Game of Thrones? Mm-hmm. 2 of them were hers. And David said, if you date her, you're not going to make it. I'm like, I don't care. It's for her. I'm going to fight and get my shield because it's for her love. That's passion. Somebody you would kill a dragon for. Right? Alex doesn't have that problem. But the rest, like, no, I'm not spending more than $27,000 and I'm not buying a dragon. Here we go. But for someone who really loves you, they're going to kill a dragon for you. Right? She's like, yeah, of course. Right? Passion. Without passion, your story is lifeless. The hero is the bridge between you and the audience. The audience has got to believe you. Tell me your name. Right here. What's your name? Chung. Chung. Valerie says to Chung, Chung says, I need to lose some weight. And Valerie says, you know who you need to go to? Who? BarryMixon. And you come to my office, and I'm sitting there, 350 pounds, got a big box of Krispy Kremes right here, 64 ounces of soda, smoking a cigarette. You know what you need to do? You need to cut your carbs. Is she going to believe me? Is she going to believe me? Let me ask you a question. If I came from a planet that was being destroyed, and my parents sent me to this planet where the sun is different, who would I be? Who would I be? Let me say it again, because you guys know it. If I came from another planet, my parents sent me to this planet. The sun is different. They gave me superhuman strength. Who would I be? I would be Superman. Who would you say? Hero. Okay, cool. That's good. All right. If my parents were billionaires and they got killed when I was young and I was angry at the criminal element and I wanted to fight back, who would I be? Batman. Those stories are 75 years old, and yet you all know these stories. But yet, if I walked in this room I got a nice red cape, I got a cold red trunks, boots, and everything else, and I just said, I'm Superman. Men is like, I'm leaving. Okay? Because you don't believe me. That's the same example. I've only been doing computers for 2 weeks. Andre's been doing it for 25 years. Who you believe? Him? Him or me? Him. You have to be believable. I can do ballet. I can do ballet. No, nobody's going to believe that. You have to believe whatever you're talking about. I'm sure when Min is talking about numbers, she can make you blind how much information she knows. Well, what you have to do is you have to itemize this, you have to do this, and projected liabilities and everything else, and I'll be like, yeah, you do it. Because I believe her. She's the hero in my story. This is the most important part of the story. You don't have a story without the antagonist. All of us are going through this in our lives. Everyone in here had some hard times. Everyone in here, or some of you, are going through hard times right now. Bills, relationships, money, job. And what makes it, this is the thing, those of you who are Star Wars fans, Luke Skywalker is nothing without Darth Vader. Luke Skywalker was some kid in the desert. Nobody cared about Luke. Nobody even knew who he was until he had to fight the ultimate person. Let me go back. Which is the antagonist. You guys who came here to the United States and did not know how to speak English when you got here? Anybody? You didn't know how to speak English, but you speak English fine now. You speak better than me. Okay? Yeah. That's your antagonist. You had to get through that. Yeah. Who came here who didn't have a job? Who's gone through a period of time when you didn't have a job? Yeah. And yeah. You made it through. They make stories, they make movies about people. The bigger your antagonist is, the better your story is. Let me see. Can I borrow you for just 1 second? You don't even have to say anything. I just need you to just have to stand here. Yes? Just stand here, please. Just stand. Just stand. I just need y'all. Let's give him a hand. All right, so, let's say, what's his name? What's your name? Lucci? That's a cool name, Lucci, all right? So, Lucci, so let's say we're at a wrestling match, right? All right, we're at a wrestling match. And in this corner, weighing 250 pounds, the champion wrestler of the world, BarryMixon. And in this corner, Lucci. Right? And I stand up there like this. You can stand next to your mom and just like, I'm going to rip your head off. I'm going to take off your nose and eyeballs off. I'm going to get your ears off. And you're like, okay. That's an antagonist, right? He weighs maybe 70 pounds. He maybe weighs 70 pounds. But guess what? Guess what? That's the antagonist, right? But the next element is awareness. This is the most beautiful element. Now, let's stand right there for a second. Stand right there. Don't leave. You don't have to die. That's the moment that he realizes this is not something that he can do. This is something that he has to do. See, because once upon a time, his mother told him a story and said, Lucci, yes, mommy, you can be anything you want to be, honey. Really? I don't care how big the guy is. You can beat him. I believe in you. You're like, really? But, Mom, he's huge. I don't care, sweetheart. I love you. You my son. And why? And he remembers that. He remembers that. I'm sitting here grabbing him like this, and he remembers, what did Mommy say? And then all of a sudden, Lucci's like, woo-hoo, come on, right? And he can't hit me up here, but he's down here. Right? Hit me all here some more. Ah! And I'm on the ground, and next thing you know, and the winner, and the new champion. I just need your hand. Ready? Lucci! Thank you. That's a story. That's a story. All of you had to go through that. All of you had to go through that part of your life where you didn't think nobody could do it but you. If you got kids, you definitely went through this. There was a moment where you didn't know what to do. Moms do it all the time. You're taking care of the house, you're cooking, you're cleaning, you're dealing with your husband, you're doing all this stuff like this, and you do it. Because if you don't do it, who's going to do it? Who's going to do it? Let's give it up for the moms. Let's give it up for the moms. Superhero. See, she already knows. She's like, how do you know my secret identity? She's standing there like this already, all right? All right? All right, so, next one. Transformation. That's because transformation is that moment when the things that you have done is transferred to someone else. Whatever Lucci's mom taught him, I'm in the audience, and I'm sitting there saying, in the beginning, he's going to get killed. Oh my God, how could you do that? And then when he beats me, everybody's going to say, not you, Luke, what did you say to him? I want to, tell me what you said to him so I can be like him. Yeah, that's transformation. Anybody got one of these? Anybody got one of these? Those of you who are over, 30 years old, remember what this used to mean? This used to be something that you eat. This used to be, Alex, it used to be a time when you said, Mom, can I have an apple? Here you go. And you ate it. Now when you say apple, you get one of these. There used to be a time when you would go to the Apple store, and you go to a computer store like a Best Buy, and when you wanted an Apple product, and tell me, am I right? When you wanted an Apple product, the guy would first laugh at you like, you want Apple? Okay, come this way. And he'd take you all the way to the back of the store, and this would be the Apple selection right here. All the rest was just IBM. This would be Apple. But when Steve Jobs died at, 53 years old, Apple was the most powerful company in the world. That's transformation. That's transformation. When you have done something that has inspired everybody else. Mozart died at 36 years old. He had 6 kids, 3 of them died, 4 of them died in childbirth. He was penniless. He was buried in a pauper's grave. He had a horrible relationship with his father. But 217 years later, when Comcast created the Xfinity, their state-of-the-art media system, you know whose music they used? Mozart. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was sitting in my living room, and it was this woman jumping through a screen. You're so and the moment I heard it, I don't know Mozart's music like, oh, well, that's I just knew from the sound. That's got to be Mozart. It's got to be Mozart. And it's a piece called Sanctus Sanctus. That's what Xfinity used for to introduce their new media system. Xfinity. Speaking of Mozart, sound. Sound is what resonates. That's the thing that you remember. When I said Mozart, nobody in here said who. When I say Michael Jackson, nobody says who. When I say Steve Jobs, nobody said who. And in times when I say, if you're in auditing, when you say men, you'll be like, oh yeah. When you say Andre, yeah, oh yeah. Okay? When you say Nathan, when he creates that ship, you're going to be like, oh yeah, Nathan. I remember when I was in class with him. It creates a sound. Anybody saw the movie Amadeus? Anybody ever saw the movie about Amadeus? There's a scene. That's where I got this from. That's where it all came together. There's a scene in Amadeus where the protagonist, the antagonist, his name was the real man. His name was Antonio Salieri. And he knew of Mozart, but he never really met him. He never really held his music in his hand. And the way he described it was absolutely beautiful. He picked up the music, and he said, and because he's a musician, he was really he was pretty famous before Mozart came along. When he looked at the music, he said, at first it was nothing, just a pulse. Basset horns, bassoons, like something from an old rusty squeeze box.
I will not find the answer to your question.
Thank you, I didn't ask you. Yeah. Like something from an old rusty squeeze box. But then suddenly, high above it, an oboe. A single note hanging there, unwavering, until a clarinet took it over, sweetened it to a sound of such delight. This isn't a music from a performing monkey. This was a sound that I had never heard, filled with such longing, such unfulfillable longing that it seemed to me as if I was listening to the voice of God. He said that in the movie. When I heard that, I was just like, imagine being able to tell your story. Well, when people see who you are, that's what they think of you. The people, David, Michelle, Min, Andre, they don't do just auditing. This is music.